Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala amma ba'd. My dear brothers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullah.
Today's talk or Zoom meeting, it is a meeting, is about the difficulties, the traumas, the challenges facing Muslim men in society. And the thing about the society is there's always been challenges from the time of the Prophet Muhammad until now. And the Prophet Muhammad he had the biggest challenges as a man. He had his first challenge was the challenge to his own sanity. When the angel Jibril came to him in a cave and told him to read Iqra, and he say, Ma ana biqari. And then he squeezed him again even more tighter and said to him, Iqra. And he say, Ma ana biqari. And then he squeezed him a third time and said, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, khalaqa al-insana min alaq. So after that time, he found that what the angel Jibril recited to him stayed in his heart, and he went out and he saw the angel Jibril, and he saw him on the horizon with 600 wings, and he thought he was going crazy. He thought he was possessed. He thought he was going crazy, and he went to throw himself off, and he saw Jibril again from the horizon right the way up to the sky, and he said that I am Jibril, the messenger of Allah. And when he came down to his wife Khadija and said, cover me, he complained to his wife Khadija, saying, I'm going crazy. And his wife assured him that you're not possessed and you're not crazy. You keep the family ties. You're a good person to your neighbor. You're good with kith and kin. You give charity. You're truthful. You are this, you are that. And she affirmed him. She affirmed him with these good qualities. So that was the first challenge, the first person of this ummah to have challenges in the society that they were in was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he did have many challenges. You know, it was interesting that Allah Azza wa Jal decided to call him from a mountain when one of his biggest calls or da'wah, one of his biggest calls that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made was up on the mountain. When he made the call, and this call that he made was a call to as if an army was to come, and he made the call, and the people gathered around him, and he said, if I was to tell you that there was an army on the other side of this mountain approaching, would you believe me? And they said, yes, we believe you because you are the trustworthy, you're the truthful. He says, verily, I am a messenger of Allah to you, and I warn you of an impending doom. And then Abu Lahab got up and he said, this is what you called us for? He said, Tabbat lak. He said, like, damn you, may you perish. And then we have the ayat for Quran, Tabbat yada abi wa lahabin wa tab. may the hand of Abu perish, and may he perish. You see? So the thing is that the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in the early days, throughout his life, he met challenges. But the thing, he had Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiallahu an. He had Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiallahu an, aiding him. So when the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, who today has given charity? Abu Bakr said, myself. Who followed the janazah? He said, myself. Who has visited the sick? Myself. Who is fasting? Myself. The Abu Bakr Siddiq was able to do all these things to help. So what is the point? The point here is that we in the society, either as new Muslims or as Muslims who have returned to our religion, born Muslims who have been astray, and then Allah has decided to guide you back to your religion. Because I'm a revert to Islam. What we need to do, we need to look at what the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what he was praised for, what the people knew him for, what even his opponents and his enemies knew him for. We need to reflect on what he was known for, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Abu Bakr Siddiq, and Umar al-Khattab, and Uthman al-Affan, and Ali bin Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, and other companions. And what we need to do, we need to be implementing those actions and those behaviors in our family and with our neighbors and with our friends and the people that we know and our work colleagues. So this brings me up to the very next question. This is a question that I'm going to put out to those who are here, because I want to make it more discussion. I don't want to give a lecture, because there are many lectures. They're on YouTube, or they might be even live. What I want to do, I want to open up the floor. Abu Suleiman, if you could just, if you can unmute. I think, can people unmute themselves here?
Yeah, they can, or we could do it. It's not a problem.
Okay, right.
The brother raised their hand to speak, I think.
Okay, right. Would someone like to raise the main difficulty they had when they either first became a Muslim or first became conscious about Islam, that, yeah, they want to practice Islam, and they were conveying this message to family, to friends, to neighbors, to work colleagues? What sort of difficulties did you face? And if you were able to solve it, that difficulty, could you share that with us? And if you're unable to solve certain difficulties, can you share that with us so we can help? We can help you, inshallah. Brother Yahya, tatafaddal. Carry on.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Akhuka fillah. Barakallahu fikum, akhi. Tatafaddal, you're welcome.
Alhamdulillah, ya Sheikh, sorry, excuse me. I'm a revert as well, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And I embraced Islam in Germany. That was about 9 years ago.
Okay.
And I say the biggest problem, or the biggest hurdle I came across was, of course, the misconceptions about Islam. A lot of people have false ideas about Islam, and also not just things that I had to, like, for example, telling non-Muslim family members about Islam, tell them, no, this is not correct, Islam is so and so. But then also a lot of false things that I picked up from Muslims who were telling me the wrong things as well.
Okay.
So I think,
describe these things for us.
So I'd say a lot of things like, for example, one example was, a Muslim. He was, practicing Muslim from, from birth, and he would tell me things like, "Oh, you have to wipe under your feet when you wipe your socks." Certain things that just I'd have to learn and then find out. Okay, well, this person told me the wrong thing. Alhamdulillah, at the end of the day, it's Allah that gives the hidayah. But it was a bit of a job to kind of discern, to discern what is real, what is not, even between Muslims, to find out, okay, this is culture, this is not Islam, and at the end of the day, Allah Ta'ala makes it clear. It's only by his doing, but that was definitely something that was difficult as a revert, kind of just sifting through what is real, what is official, what is not official. And sorry, to answer your question further,
how was you able to relate that to your family? I mean, you're a non-Muslim. How did your family respond, and how was you able to convey Islam to your family? Did you have any difficulties? If there were any difficulties, what were they?
I say I had my step grandmother. She was German. She was the only one I really had an issue with. The rest of my family was all pretty much okay. They were happy. They were happy that I was happy. But she was very strict, very staunch against Islam. And the problem with her, she was saying, "Oh, you should have told me that you were going to do it. I would have told you not to do it." And that's it, really. And it just took a lot of patience with her, just kind of being gentle towards her, just forbearance, really. Because she just kept on throwing things at me. "Oh, this isn't right, and you shouldn't be doing this." And she tried to teach me about my religion as well. And then I had to tell her, "Oh no, well, this is actually not correct what you're saying," because that's another thing as well. So I was living with her at the time, and she would tell me things from her Muslim friends that were completely untrue, and then I would have to say, no, I understand that these are your friends and they're Muslims, but this is not from the religion. So I would say, yeah, breaking those misconceptions was a big thing as well.
Okay, and what about your friends? I understand that with your grandmother, she was basically, what she was basically doing was listening to her friends who are Muslims, who maybe cultural, traditional, or just not practicing the religion properly. I understand that bit, but
Yeah.
you yourself, did you encounter any difficulties or any problems? Because it seemed like you never really had too much problem with your families, with your friends, or the people that you knew before Islam, or your work colleagues.
To be honest, subhanAllah, Allah Ta'ala made it very easy in that time. I was in a brand new country, and all the people that I met were Muslims, and that's how I became acquainted with Islam. So Allah Ta'ala took me out of Jahiliyyah, out of my country where I'm from originally, and placed me somewhere where there were better people, kind people. And Allah just gave me a new beginning already. So it was very easy. The transition, I have to say, subhanAllah, by Allah's will, it was very easy. Friends, I didn't really have that many friends. And the ones that I did have, I would just meet them here and there, tell them about Islam. And then eventually I just completely sifted away to the brothers, alhamdulillah.
Okay, and what about your work? Any problems at work?
I would say the prayer would be the biggest difficulty always. Every time I had a new job, the first thing, prayer. What am I gonna pray? Finding and actually a brother gave me an advice. He told me, because I was fresh in Islam, I was just very excited. He said, don't go to a job interview and say, "I'm a Muslim, I need to pray 5 times a day." He told me that, don't do that. He said, go to accept the job, get the job. And then he said, find a place, go somewhere on your lunch break, find a place, a little corner or a closet where you can pray. And that's always kind of just been the biggest struggle, I say, as a revert, or even just as a practicing Muslim, to be honest. Finding a place to pray. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair, brother Yahya.
Yeah.
I'd just like to put the same sort of question, an opportunity to express for anyone else to express their difficulties that they face being a Muslim in society, either when they first became a Muslim or when they first became conscious of Islam, practicing Islam, and the difficulties that you may have faced then, and the problems that you even face now. Yeah, the floor is open. Just put your hand up so we can, or unmute yourself and speak. Yeah, what are the difficulties?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullah.
كيف حالك شيخ إسماعيل Faizan, Abu Sulaiman and the rest of the
Alhamdulillah, is that Ismail speaking?
Yeah, where's the video, man?
I'm undercover. I'm undercover right now.
You're
But
undercover.
listen, I'm undercover literally. So listen, I think one of the issues I found was getting the balance between giving your family their rights and obviously trying to stay away from those things that are haram from your culture. Like obviously we always used to have like anniversaries, weddings, birthday parties, this, that. And obviously as a Muslim, you can't go. And this was like a bit of a taboo, like, oh, you think you're too pious now, or oh, you can't hug us now. Obviously cousins, you're normally very close with your cousins, aren't you? So, you know, you can't hug them. You got to say, listen, you know, don't touch kind of thing. And I think if you don't have the right way of, and I kind of messed up kind of thing. I kind of took things like, you know, don't touch me, you know, it's haram. And which it is, but there's a way to do it. So I think what's happened is I've kind of lost the relationship with my family. You get what I'm saying? Because of not wanting to be in that situation, and that gives some kind of distance. And now I've got to kind of work on that and try and build the relationship back with the family. So that's one thing I think I've definitely messed up. You know, maybe you might say having too much zeal, or not having the wisdom and the balance to make the right decisions at the right time. Obviously, when you're new to Islam, you jump in foot first, you don't hear nothing else but Islam, and you're not concerned about giving dawah to your family. That's like, when I think about it, that's mad. Like, you know, there's hellfire, and you're not spending no time giving dawah to your family. You're out going Birmingham, Manchester, meeting the brothers, Trinidad, going conferences, but you're not giving dawah to your family, man. That just feels so weird right now. You get what I'm saying? When I think about and reflect about it,
Yeah.
why didn't I spend time sitting with my family and visiting them, and, you know, okay, going Sunday dinner with them and going here and there? I'm chilling out with the brothers in Birmingham in a conference, and I'm not thinking, wow, my family need dawah. So I think that was a wrong mistake. That's a big mistake I made. And you know, I don't know. I just regret. I just think I need to just go back and, you know, and look out for my family, man. So that's the plan anyway.
That's good. You make some good points there, Ismail. There's brother Abdul Qadir, Jazakallah khair for that, Ismail. We hopefully what we have so far. We have the problems with the prayer. We have the giving balance to the family, giving them their rights. And now we're going to stop going to parties. I remember being invited to a party. It was kind of mad. And, you know, I was single then. And that was a long, long time ago. I was like 1980, right? And I remember going to this party, and I saw this girl there. And my non-Muslim brothers say, yeah, go get this girl. And I thought, nah. I went to my mother's bedroom, and the Quran that I gave her, and I opened the Quran, and I looked in the Quran, and I said, right, it's this Quran or it's this girl. And when I looked into the Quran, I said, no, this Quran, this is the word of Allah Azza wa Jal. Yeah, this Quran is true, and I'm not going to be talking to this girl, because my brothers were forcing me, because I could see that coming out of a divorce situation and being single, they probably thought I was like the lone sheep, and they wanted me now to go back to revert back to kufr or something like that. So they were kind of like forcing me that type of way, and it was really interesting because I ignored her, and I went out to the shop for my mum the next morning, and it was really, really strange. This girl that was shining like glittering in her face, the next morning I looked at her, she looked like a shaitan. She looked like a shaitan, but at that time she was shining and glittering. You see, so sometimes we all get, if you get caught up, and that party that was taking place in my mom's house. So it's like, and that's where I was living at the time. So it's not like I was, So the thing, there is a thing of, no, we don't do parties, we don't do anniversaries, we don't do birthdays, we don't give hugs to cousins, and the thing about the relationships is someone is too hard on us, or someone in his family smoking. Every time he's smoking there, like my families were rustlers, so you go there and it's the Bob Marley, and they got to smoke and they got to drink, and you're trying to make a distancing from these people to save your deen, to save yourself. You know what I'm saying? To save yourself from being intoxicated from ganja. Ganja, you go there, you're not smoking it, but it's almost like you're stoned, bro. You understand? Just being in that environment, But let me hold true. Brother Abdul Qadir, please. Sorry to have delayed you. Tatafadal, Abdul Qadir. You got your hands up, Abdul Qadir. Go ahead. Abdul Qadir, unmute. You can unmute yourself, bro. Let me unmute you, Abdul Qadir. I am asking you to unmute yourself. Are you there, Abdul Qadir? It's not. I'm trying to.
I think
Can someone unmute Abdul Qadir?
I think he's Allahu Alam, but he's there to unmute himself, inshallah.
Okay. All right. I'll mute everybody. So I'm muted everybody, but I don't mute all. I've muted everybody now. So I need to. Abu Suleiman, unmute yourself, please. And Ismail, unmute yourself, please. Okay, so let's continue with the conversation, because I don't know what happened to Abdul Qadir.
Can I give a Muslim perspective of what we face? Born into Muslim family, and what we face,
Sure.
And I think there may be a few other brothers there who can come in and discuss some of these issues. Primarily, most of us, when we were born into a Muslim family, like anybody else, we believe that we're on the truth. We believe that what our parents say, depending on the culture, what our parents say is the truth. So there's nothing wrong with it. But once you start developing and understanding, start learning, start reading, start investigating, then you start questioning many of the things that family members and the community that you are with, when they do those things, and you question them, then you will find, if you question your parents, they are in opposition to you. When you start questioning the community, they are opposition to you also. So especially when it comes to going to prayer, when you start learning, when you start, that initial boost makes you want to do everything that the Prophet ﷺ did in terms of prayer. But you'll find many of the people culturally, they do not pray according to the Sunnah, but they only pray according to how they were told to pray by the imam that they taught them, because many of them, they learned through oral tradition. So way they were taught by the imam, that's what they were taught. Majority of them don't read. Only those who read are the imams, and they're the ones who have the understanding of the religion. Whereas you and me or anybody else, even a revert who become the Muslims, who may be learning, who may be investigating, that when you start questioning those people and their way of life, then you become a threat to every one of them. To your family, you become an outcast, and to the community, who are you bringing? What Islam are you bringing? Because that's not how your father, your mother, your grandfather, that's not how they've been practicing. So what happens then is that they start having suspicion, whether you become a deviant from the whole community. Like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he called people to worship one God, as Allah said in the Quran, has he made all of the gods into one God? Hada shayun ajib. That's a very strange thing. How can you make all these 360 idols into one God? And same with the cultural mentalities, that whatever the cultural practice people do, and you do something opposite, or you show them that it is not in the Sunnah, then they will find it difficult and they will start opposing you, and you become a target of, how would I put it, abuse. Like
insults and abuse. But the thing is, though, Abu Sulaiman, Jazakallah khair for that. The thing is, though, the problems are there. How did you solve this? Because did it always remain a problem? How are your family seeing you now?
Problem is when it comes to parents,
and family.
No, I'm not going to say. If you begin with the parents, for them, who are you to teach us about our religion? We know more than you. We gave birth to you, so basically, you don't know nothing. And to an extent that it became, to me, it became where, I know that I cannot get through to them with my words, because to them, you're nothing. So what happens then is, slowly, I gave them Quran. Say, read the Bengali translation of the Quran. At least get a meaning of it, or get books that explains about the prayer, the Udu, the Salah, and all of that stuff. But even when you give those kind of books, you find they find it difficult to accept all of those things. And to an extent, recently, about a year ago, I went to Bangladesh, and I was talking to one of these, what do you call it, those madrasa students, and I said to him, look, what are you taught? And what happened then is that I said to him, look, give me your book, let me have a look at your book. And I said, look, this was he said, you have to follow the Hanafi madhab. I said, give me one of your books that you're taught. And alhamdulillah, within that book, it had the Bengali and English translation with it. So as I went through, it says, what are the sources of Islam? The Quran and the Sunnah and the Ijma. That was written in plain English and Bengali underneath. So I said to him, can you read that, what he says to me? And he goes, so show me, where does he say Abu Hanifa? Where does he say Imam Malik or Shafi? Where does he say that you have to follow the format? Where does he say that? He said, yeah, but so the argument, you'll find same problem with the imams of the masjid that we face. Whenever we used to pray, they used to say, well, why are you praying like that? We said, because it's the Sunnah. They said no. Then again, the argument comes back is that, you got to follow the Hanafi way, and you cannot follow a different way.
I understand the fiqh issue. These are fiqh issues.
No. I'm talking about the people's mentality is that we have a set way that we have followed. You cannot come and say this is the Sunnah. That's what I'm trying to say, that they're stuck to the way.
I understand.
You cannot change that.
I understand. I just like to get Hamid, Jazakallah khair for that. Because we're talking about the problems that we're facing in the society as newly practicing Muslims. And Hamid, can you unmute yourself?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Look, this is Abdul Hamid. Go ahead, brother.
You say it was different, Abdul Hamid, yeah?
Where it says Hamid, I never known you as Hamid, but never mind. Go ahead.
No, just Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Just like what you were saying when you were talking about the difficulties as a Muslim, the difficulties that you go through, with a family who are non-Muslims.
Yeah.
I think even like growing up in a Muslim family, and then you start practicing, maybe not to that extent that you, as having non-Muslims what you go through, but not to that extent. But you got the same difficulties. Like example, when in our culture, when it comes to wedding, things like that, it's always free mixing. It's
Yeah.
music. All these
Yeah.
things is there. So growing up, that's how we grow up. Music, free mixing, wedding, all these things. So when you start practicing, and you don't go to wedding, or you don't involve with these kind of things, it becomes strange. I mean, now I think more people are getting educated, but going back 30 years, or when I start practicing, it was uncommon to find having marriage, Islamic marriage, like the sisters one side, the brothers one side, or no music. That never used to really happen. Maybe once in a while. The norm was music, free mixing. So when I
Okay.
start practicing myself,
Yeah.
that was the difficulties that I used to have.
Right.
I remember that time, mashallah, the iman was more stronger than now. When you start practicing first, that iman is a
Yeah.
special iman. So I remember my niece was getting married, it was so difficult. I was the only person that I didn't go to the wedding, because we
Oh
were
no.
free mixing. It was music, and 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 that time, as I said, like the iman was so high. You just start practicing, you don't feel no way, like, oh, I think I should go or something. Your iman is strong. This thing is wrong, I'm not going. That's it. So, alhamdulillah, it was difficult. Because sometimes you're sitting at home, because the wedding that doesn't just not only one day, it carry on at home sometimes. So they're watching something, they play music a little bit. So I have to leave the way they are. I have to go to the other room, and
Yeah, I understand that, but what were you able to do to let people know that this is not right? It's not proper. It's improper. What did you do? Do
it's just,
people understand you now? And if they
yeah. I
understand
mean,
you,
over the years, I think alhamdulillah, maybe it's because of my action. I stayed firm. I think gradually.
yeah, Allah guided you. Allah guided you, and then your action.
So alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Is this Zayyinib? Is this Zayyinib? Is that a man or a woman?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think over the years,
Yeah.
obviously, I've never been harsh on the da'wah with them. Anyway,
Right.
always never been harsh with my
Right.
family,
Right.
giving da'wah to them. So I think it was more action. Gradually over the years, I think they had more respect. Some of them start practicing. I think
Alhamdulillah.
most of them, they don't go wedding mixing, and where there's music and stuff like that. I think it kind of helps, but you
What's the
have to be
advice
firm.
then?
When you're firm, then gradually, I think it kind of, you have to have a lot of sabr. You can't change them overnight, but
Yeah.
as time goes on, I think a lot of them, alhamdulillah, they change it. They start wearing hijab. The sisters and the brothers start practicing a little. Most of them now, alhamdulillah, they don't listen to music or free mixing. My wedding, they don't go to these kind of places.
Okay, that's good. Jazakallah khair. I just want to get a few more people active. My salam to the brother Adrian, and I'm wondering, I'm hoping that is Mustafa. Mustafa, I'm hoping that's you. Muhammad Hamza, and we got Yahya. Abdul Qadir, you can speak now. Are you there, brother? Assalamu alaikum. Abdul Qadir? Abdul Qadir? Yes, brother, that's you. Are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Welcome, welcome, brother. Yes, brother, you had your hand up before, and Hamid, if you could, Abdul Hamid, if you could lower your hand, please.
No,
And Abdul Qadir, what would you like to say, bro?
no, brother, mashallah, I'm happy to listen to you. I just listen is I'm a new, you know, I don't know the way actually I press my mistake, you know, I raise my hand. But I just say I'm happy to listen.
No problem, brother. You know, be at ease. You're most welcome. If you want to say something, you can, and also if you want to listen, you know, you feel free. Any of the other brothers? Yeah, Abu Ma'ab, Muhammad Hamza. When you started practicing your deen, was your deen being consistent? What difficulties have you had at the workplace, Muhammad? Muhammad, unmute yourself. Muhammad, you there? Muhammad Hamza. No. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do now, we're gonna be looking at some answers then. We're gonna be looking at some answers. The prayers that I found, I mean, I started work. I don't know if anyone else has started work sooner. I started work in 1979. Well, some of you weren't born in 1979 because that is true, but I was 16 years old, you see. So, and I started working for British Gas. And I remember when I took my Shahada, at 17. 17 years old. I took
MashaAllah, Mubarak alayk.
Yeah, I mean. And it was really, really strange, where sometimes I'd go through part of the day and forget that I had to pray. You know, because it's you know, for 17 years of my life, I'm not praying. And then now you take your Shahada and you think, and then you would forget. And then you remember, and it will make you cry that you forgot your prayer, and you'll be looking at yourself like you're a munafiq because you didn't pray. But in actual fact, you just weren't accustomed to pray. And then sometimes you have to make up, you know, because you just weren't in the habit of doing the 5 daily prayers yet. But when I went to work, I would go out at college. I'll go on the top of the roof and I would pray there, make wudu and pray in the corridor or at work. I remember one time praying in a room, and the training center, and they found me, and then some women came into the room and they screamed. They was frightened. They saw me on the floor. They probably thought I was like knocked out unconscious or something like that when I was in sujood, sajda. And and I could hear them screaming. And then one of the instructors told me, "No, you should have asked us for a room so that you could pray." They stopped me going for Jummah. They said I weren't allowed to go and take time off Jummah. And instead of fighting them, because I could have fought them, I ended up leaving the job. I didn't like the British Gas anyway. And on the first building site I went on, there were Muslims. I decided that I wanted to work with Muslims, and I worked with them. And then after that, I went to the training course. I became a carpenter, and then you had to be making your salah on the building site. And if you told them that you were a Muslim, I'm a Muslim, I need to pray 5 times a day. I need to pray. You don't have to pray Dhuhr or Asr, depending on the weather. Dhuhr and Asr, Maghrib. So I didn't know that you can pray. I didn't know that you can pray Dhuhr and Asr Jam. Because if you're at work and you're restricted, especially in wintertime, you can join your Dhuhr and Asr. You can join Salatul Dhuhr and Salat al-Asr. And then now you got Maghrib to pray now. So Maghrib is coming in now 5 o'clock. If you're finishing work 5:15, you could pray after work. You see, you can pray. And another thing that you don't realize, and people don't realize, is that as a wash machine repairs, and with this lockdown, COVID-19, some of them the masajids are closed. You miss the salat time, you can't get into the masjid. But we pray on the street. Just make sure that you got a prayer mat. Make sure you got your prayer mat with you. And I pray by my car. It's in actual fact, sometimes I feel better praying by my car, because it means that I don't have to go into the masjid. I'm not going to the masjid mean that, I'm not as susceptible to COVID-19. So my house now in Leicester is literally around the corner from the masjid. But because the masjid is there, I go all 5 daily prayers, I go to the masjid. But when I'm outside, I've got a choice. I've got a choice of trying to find a masjid that is open. I'm praying by my car. I'll pray by my car. You see? So that is another thing that you choice that you have, that once you have your prayer mat and you have wudu, you can pray on the road. That the masjid, the world is a masjid for this ummah. We're not confined to praying in the masjid only, like how the Christians are confined to praying in their church. They have to do their congregational prayers in the church. We can pray on the road. So that's the prayer thing out of the way. Concerning the balance and giving the family their rights, brother Abdul Hamid Muhammad, he said the right thing. He said the right thing, that we have to have sabr. We have to have this wasta'inu bi sabri wasala fa innaha lakabiratun illa ala al-khashi'in. That seek your help with patience and prayer, for indeed this is hard except for the humble-minded. So we have to deal with our people humbly, our family. Alhamdulillah, I gave da'wah to my mother, and she took her shahada. And alhamdulillah, we was able to do the janazah for her. And I was just easy with her. I don't try to give the da'wah all yourself, because as you say, Abu Sulaiman, that when you're giving a da'wah, they turn around and they will say to you, who are you? We gave birth to you. You should be following us. We are following the religion of our forefathers. What do you know? And they would speak like this. You know what I'm saying? But if you bring someone else who is from the same ethnicity like you, the same background like you, but only older and more knowledgeable, they may be more likely, not necessarily, they're more likely listen to someone who's older than you, someone who's a stranger, someone who they consider to be a mu'allim or a alim or something like that. Speak to them. They would rather have that person. Because I had my mother, she spoke to Sheikh Kamaluddin, and Sheikh Kamaluddin had more or less the same age. I mean, my mom was 19, my mother was born in 1933. She had me when she was 30, because I'm born in 1963. That's 30 years different. So she was 30 years old when she gave birth to me, you see. So Sheikh Kamaluddin, I think he's 1933 or probably 1936. I hope he doesn't mind me divulging his age, live on Zoom. But they were more or less the same age. So I got Sheikh Kamaluddin to speak to my mom. I got Sheikh Abu Bakr to speak to my mom. I got Muhammad Khaja, who passed away, rahimahullah, passed away. Sheikh Abdullah Rafiq, who passed away a few days ago, speak to my mom. So I use a bit of hikmah. I didn't do everything myself. I got my mum to meet some of the Muslim sisters. You know what I mean? And she said, oh, I like this sister. Oh, she's very nice. Oh, she's this. And they would talk and they would have some rapport. And then she would say, oh, I don't like this person, but I like this person. Oh, and I take her different places. I took her to Central Mosque. I took her down to the Belfield Roads, Brixton Mosque. So I took my mother to different places. Yeah. I mean, the floor is open for anyone who wants to jump in and to say anything. If I see a hand being raised or if someone wants to say something regarding anything they've heard, please do just drop in. The problem is sometimes some people say ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Some people say ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. I don't actually believe that. What I mean is that to be full of zeal and enthusiasm and to be jahil, yeah, it's just like having a bull in a china shop. You know what I'm saying? You just smash everything up because you bully and force people. I feel that the slowly approach is best. I found that sowing the seeds, like with my father, my mother's more accepting because my mother was the one who grew me up, and I spent some time with my father, but not a lot of time with my father. So my father, he was less accepting of me, and probably could have been a bit more accepting if I was different, if things were different. And how I knew I messed up was the other day I was having a conversation with him, and this is why I decided to have this as a topic. And I was pointing out, he was pointing out some of the hypocrisy that he sees with people or people of religion. He's saying that the Jews, they're saying that they're the chosen people. The Christians are saying that, well, they're the only one that is blessed, that you have to accept Jesus or else you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. And he said, you Muslims are the same. You calling us infidel. You see me as the infidel. And I said, well, Dad, I don't use such words as infidel. I've got a word to describe non-Muslims, but I wouldn't use the word infidel. He said, well, but I said, that's a translated word. And then, he got down in this and they said, well, I said, Dad, I had certain difficulties when I first became a Muslim. And he said, yeah, well, I had certain difficulties as well. He said, you didn't go to your grandmother's funeral, which is what Ismail was saying. You didn't go to the funeral, to your grandmother's funeral. When I die, will you go to my funeral? And I said, well, Dad, what type of religious person are you? What are you, Christian, or what is it that you believe? He said, I believe that we're all sons and daughters of God. And I said, well, do you not believe that? And I said, no, I don't believe that. He said, you don't believe that we were created in God created Adam in his image? And I said, no, Dad, I don't believe that. I believe that Allah, he created Adam with an image of his own. That means Adam had an image of his own, not that Adam was created in Allah's image. You know what I mean? And then he said, well, this is in the Bible. So, Dad, we can't trust the Bible because it's been translated from different languages, from Hebrew to Amharic, from Amharic to Greece to Latin, then to English. Then you've got the various poor translations that they have in English as well, And then he chipped in and said, oh yeah, and there was Paul as well. The Paul, he changed up the whole religion, and he never even met Jesus. And this is where we left. So the point was, he said, you got married, you never invited me to your weddings. Sometimes we have a wedding and we just have a few people and a few friends, and we forget about our non-Muslim parents. If we got non-Muslim parents, Abu Suleiman, تفضل أخي. Welcome.
No, I'm just what you're mentioning regarding respecting your parents or family members. I don't know why when brothers revert, or even those brothers who are born into Muslim family, they become a barrier to the family.
Yeah.
Like they're saved and everybody else is going to go to the hellfire. And what surprises me the most is that if you read the Quran, you look at the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you find the respect shown by a prophet to a a non-believing father who doesn't believe in the same message, like Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he said to Abati, oh my father, in utter respect. Even he's a kafir, but he
Yeah.
showed respect. And
Yeah.
you find example of this interaction between those who are born or those who revert into Islam, is that once they become, it's like my father, I know more than you. You don't have to have this pride of being like, oh, I'm the first one to be guided, and I'm going to make sure that you're going to follow me. It doesn't mean that you're going to make them believe you straight away. It's going to
That's
take.
right.
It's not
Time.
something done straight
Mm.
away. Look at the example of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam trying to call Abu Lahab. Even he's destined to go to hell. But here, even for 10 years, he's been calling, Abu Lahab, to even his uncle, Muttalib, calling him, oh, my uncle, accept Islam. I'll be a what do you call it, argument with you on the day of judgment.
Yeah.
So even then, they didn't accept. So whoever Allah guides, Allah will guide. Whoever Allah wants to misguide, Allah will misguide. But your aim is not to think that you're the one who's going to guide them. It's Allah who guides them. So you're there to convey. And if you
That
do it the
is
proper
a
way,
very good point.
if you do it in the proper way, inshallah, even if they're not guided when you're alive, when you're dead, they may be guided. Example, look at Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How those people who fought him in Battle of Badr, they made him bleed. And not extra. What does this say? Like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned in one of the narration, oh Allah, forgive my people. They did not have no knowledge. They are ignorant. Oh Allah.
Jazakallah khairan. I just want to get someone else in because the time is running a bit short. Abu Solomon, Jazakallah khairan. Brother Abdul Hamid, you got your hands up.
It's just a kind of a question to you. The way you used to give da'wah when you start practicing, and now, like to your families, if there's something that you learned that from the beginning, how you used to give da'wah, that you made a mistake or maybe you were a bit harsh, things that changed now, or if there's any change from the da'wah from the beginning and now to your families?
Well, yeah, there's a bit difference. When we at times when we first become Muslims, we use the Ahmadiyyat, rahimahullah, Sheikh Ahmad Didat, and he was a scholar in his own right. And what was his area of expertise? His areas of expertise is comparative religion. Yeah. Giving the people da'wah using the Bible. He's a scholar in his own right. And, I used to follow Ahmad Didat and even go to some of his seminars that he used to have. They had one in Albert Hall. I remember when the Salman Rushdie thing came down. So I used to use that. That's what I used to use to speak to my mother, and even to speak to my father, the Quran and science. And my father, he has the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He has a Quran. He has the Quran and science, Islamic sciences, and he has quite a bit of material. He knows the seerah. You believe it? There's some Muslims who don't know the seerah. And he knows that the name of the key Sahaba, because I have some children whose name has been named after the companions and the female companions as well. So he knows those names, and said, "Oh, and now I know why you named this person this, my grandson this, or my granddaughter this." Because he's read it from the Sirah. So so sometimes it was a bit hard poking at people's Bible and saying, "Oh, the Bible contradicts itself." The Bible, and I don't think we really actually need to. We don't need to actually go down that way. We need key pointers, and the key pointers is Tawheed, Risala. Tawheed, Risala. And the Risala of who? The Risala of the prophet that they knew before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They knew the Risala of Isa bin Maryam. So we need to make clear that Isa bin Maryam is not God, and he's not the son of God, but he is a prophet and messenger. It's very, very important, because if that concept is not out of their minds, then it's difficult now for them to accept the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they consider Isa bin Maryam sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be a God or to be a son of God. Then, you know, they have difficulty in accepting Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So to speak about them about these issues, and then to speak about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then if they accept that, then the prayers, and to do it slow, just to sow the seeds. You don't need to tell everybody everything at once. You sow the seed, you know. Yeah, and it's something also that we learn in marketing. And I don't want people to scoff. Oh, we're talking about dawah, we're talking about telling people about Islam. And look, you know, Ismail is talking about marketing, but it's a science. It's a science that we can relate to. People never buy what you give them straight away. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he confirmed this 1500 years. He taught it, and what the people are saying confirms what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught. He said, everybody that I spoke to about Islam, they had a time where they would think about it. They would think about it. Take some time to think, except one person. Who is that one person? Unmute yourself. Who is that one person who never thought about it? You accepted it straight. Who is it? Abu Sulaiman? Who is that one person?
Abu Bakr Siddiq.
Abu Bakr Siddiq. Abu Bakr Siddiq. Abu Bakr Siddiq. When the Prophet Muhammad told him about Islam, he was the only person who accepted it. Everybody had a moment where they would think about it. You know what I'm saying? First. So what it goes to tell you? It goes to tell you it is normal practice that when someone tells you something, for you to think about it. So don't dare to be thinking that just because you're on the right path, you're on the right way, in the right religion, yeah, that someone's got to accept your dawah straight away. So what these social media scientists have come up with, they say normally people need to read about you. They need to hear about you, 7 hours of material. Or they need to think about it or look at it for 7 hours. You need to visit them, or touch points, they call it, at least 11 times. At least 11 times. So you can't give them the dawah and just leave them like that. You can't give them the dawah and say, oh, I gave them the dawah now. You need to, because they're not going to accept it the first time. Some people accept it after 4 times, 5 times, 7 times, they say 11 times. And then it needs to be in 4 different places. It needs to be in 4 different environments. Yeah, you call them sometimes, you might come to you might send them on WhatsApp, you might see them again on Facebook, you might see them give them a ring, you might give them a text. They need 4 different platforms. They say this is Google. They call it 0 moments of truth, where they've done their research into how long it takes someone to buy from you and to accept things from you. So the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, he confirmed it. He said that no one, imagine, he's Nabiullah, Rasulullah Sallallahu, and even from him, Rasulullah Sallallahu, with his beautiful face, beautiful eyes, his nose, his color, they say his face was like a piece of a shining moon. That's musk is coming from his body. It was an extremely handsome man, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Good manners, good adab, you know what I mean? Good everything, yeah? Even him, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, people never used to accept from him straight away. So I think sometimes, you know, I know I've kind of got a bit long-winded. I hope you don't mind, Abdul Hamid, that sometimes we are just too hasty. We need to sow the seeds, and then next time you can build on that. And another thing, Abdul Hamid, you remember what you were saying the last time? Are you there, bro?
Yeah,
Abdul Hamid,
yeah,
you were saying something. You were saying something about you're saying something about you're saying something about keeping it simple and not trying to speak about too many things. You said mainly you speak about Tawheed. Can you explain that? Because you were saying that earlier on. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it. What you were saying?
No, yeah, we're just talking about the da'wah. So what I was saying was that from experience, when you're giving da'wah, you know, always if you start from the basic stuff to the people, because a lot of non-Muslims, they don't really, they speak about big issues about Islam, jihad, why Muslims kill or infidel and all these things they hear from the media, but they don't really know the basic things about the Tawheed and stuff. So what I've experienced that when you're giving da'wah, people might come and ask you questions about jihad, about this. So what I normally do is I divert them to Tawheed. You know, it's just using hikmah, saying, example, oh, that's a very good question, but before I answer that question, I just want you to understand certain things. Do you know what is the foundation of Islam? So what I've experienced is that when you say that, people normally, they forget about the question what they had. So they become interested about, okay, what's the fundamental belief of Islam? So when you start talking to them about Tawheed and things like that, even some people, they forget the question and they go. So when you make it simple to the people, I think Tawheed is very simple, easy. I mean, that's even from the Prophet ﷺ, always, you know, that Islam start to the Tawheed. All jihad and the siyam and zakat came later on. 13 years the Prophet ﷺ was teaching Tawheed. So when I experienced that when you're giving da'wah, I always stick to, you know, just the Tawheed, explain the belief on the angels and the day of judgment and the prophets and the books. And most people, they believe these things. And that's why, alhamdulillah, a lot of people take Shahada. When you make it simple for them, oh, is that what Islam is about? Some of them say, this is what I always believed. So some of them, they don't know that their belief is the same as Islam until someone explained to them. Even when you have people on YouTube and things like that, the first time I read the Quran or the first time I learned about Tawheed, about the oneness of God, you know, maybe you brothers have the same experience, but Tawheed is to make it simple, and most people, 99% people who believe in God, when you explain the foundation of Islam, the Tawheed, most people they accept, you know. I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. We're actually going to end today's Zoom meeting. Jazakumullah khair for brothers for your attendance. I thoroughly I thoroughly enjoyed it. Brother Yahya, before you go, yes, you can say something briefly.
Yes, sorry, Sheikh. It was just a question. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
It was something that I just want to clarify because I was left a bit confused. It's more in regards to a part of your story that you mentioned rather than the topic. Sorry, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So yeah, I'm just a bit confused. You had mentioned that you were speaking with your father, and he was saying that we are created in God's image. No, he was saying that we are creating God's image. But from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, please. But it was Adam alayhi salam who was created in Allah's image, correct? Not us. He was saying, your father was saying that we are God's children, which is not true. But from what I understand, it was Adam alayhi salam who was created in Allah's image, correct?
No, incorrect.
Because from the Sunnah, there's a narration in Bukhari and Muslim. There's one narration that mentions that Allah was created Adam alayhi salam 60 cubits tall in His image, and then there's another hadith that mentions that Allah, what was it? Allah created. Oh yes, Allah created insan with it was a prohibition of striking the face. And in that hadith as well, it mentioned in regards to Allah having an image, but not Allah having an image similar to us, as we can never resemble Him, or He doesn't resemble us. But from what I understood, I thought that was confirmed in the Sunnah.
No, that's incorrect. What is correct is that Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam with His own image. Adam with a shib binafsihi khas, like a shibhu Adam khas, that Adam has a shape or a form or a image that is specific to Adam, because we have in the Tawheed that Allah laysa kamithluhu shay wa huwa as-sami'ul alim. Something like this. You know, walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad, and there's nothing comparable to Him. There's nothing like Him. There's nothing like Him. There's no one that. So, in terms of shibh, is resemblance and likeness. This is the part of asma wa sifat, that there is nothing. Allah has a face, but His face don't look like Adam's face.
Correct. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Allah
Nothing can be like Him. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like
So what is correct is that Allah Azza wa Jal, He created Adam with a shape, with a form that is specific, that is unique to Adam. You know what I'm saying? That we don't look like Allah Azza wa Jal.
Of course.
We're not like little Allahs walking around on the earth. No.
No, Allah's above that. Of course.
I don't mean to mock you, brother. I'm not mocking. I'm just saying.
No, of course. Alhamdulillah. I have only good thoughts of you, Sheikh. Only good thoughts.
It's just for clarity's sake that Allah Azza wa Jal, He created Adam with His own image, Adam's own image, not Allah's image. Okay, bro?
Definitely. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan, Sheikh.
Barakallahu fikum. On that note, brothers, we kind of run over a bit, 15 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the session today. I've made notes, and so next week, inshallah, we'll be dealing with the problems facing the Muslim men in regards to their families, and we'll start off. We specifically deal with that, and then we'll move on to the family, and after the family, who should be next? Who should we speak about next after the family? Abu Suleiman, come on, I'm picking on you today, bro. Go on.
I think kids. Bringing up kids.
Yeah, well, that is the family, right?
Well, family specific things like maybe dealing with kids that are not practicing within your family.
Right. Okay.
There's a lot of issues. But yeah, family
right.
and then children specifically.
This sounds like Ismail.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back. Woo.
I think,
Oh, go on.
no, but I'm saying, actually, brother Ismail Fraser, I think there's lots of issues that needs discussing from what you're saying and what you're discussing. For the men, there's quite a lot of issues to discuss.
What's the next one?
I would say, if you talk about next week, Allah, we've discussed born Muslim problems we face, river Muslim problems we face. I would say now, once you establish yourself footing in terms of knowledge, I would say what are we doing with the knowledge that we already gained? Are we practicing it? Or are we neglecting it? And then you could go into like families, children, wife, helping them, supporting them. Does that belittle you, or does that raise you in status with your family? Friends. Well, there's so much issues. It's up to
Okay,
you.
good.
Right. Good.
Sheikh,
Okay.
can I put in one last thing really quick? I just found something I wanted to run it by you real quick, inshallah.
What is this? Is this Yahya or is this
Yeah,
Murtaza?
Sorry?
Is it Yahya?
Yeah, it's Yahya.
Okay, carry on. Tafaddal.
So I came across a statement of Ibn Baz, rahimahullah. I just want to make sure that I understand what the Sheikh is saying correctly, inshallah. So he was saying that what is meant by the hadith is that what is meant according to the scholars is that Allah created Adam with the ability to hear and see and to speak when he wants. These are also attributes of Allah, but of course Allah's attributes are non-comparison to us, but we confirm them. For he is all hearing, all seeing. He speaks as he wants, and he has a face. Although Allah's face is not like our face, may he be glorified and exalted.
Jazakallah khair. That's fine.
So I just want to make sure that that's what I understand correctly what you were saying.
Jazakallah khairan. Okay, what we're gonna do next week, we're gonna deal with the family, and then I'm here with the brothers at Insight to Islam. We will discuss the priorities when it comes to the family. It's kind of real strange that when you're single, then you're azab, you're by yourself, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're suffering. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone. And then the moment you get married, you got a family. So the first member of the family is your wife. That's the first member of your family. It's your wife, and then you have your first kid. And you think, yeah, I'm a father now. Before that, yeah, I'm a husband. And now, yeah, I'm a father. That's your family. And you've got other aspects of the family as well, like your parents and your siblings and your uncles and aunties. So it does, but we gotta discuss, are we gonna talk about the family before we get married or the family when we get married? So we're going to discuss that amongst ourselves, and then we will start our session next week, inshallah, with a talk about the family, man's difficulties and problems, and difficulties facing us in the society as regards to the family, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, Abu Sulaiman, jazakallah khair. Abdul Hamid, Ismail Howell, and all of you that have come here today, Jazakumullah khairan, and Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yahya, Jazakallah khair. Abdul Qadir, Jazakallah khairan. Muhammad Hamza, and all the other brothers who are here, Abdul Rahman and Abd, and inshallah we will see you next week, inshallah, and invite other people to come as well and to participate. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.